Hi, Cancer. So this is Jody with your mid-November reading. I am Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot. Thanks for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, I would love it if you would like or comment or subscribe. Share this with somebody that you might think could find it useful. If you've been here before, welcome back. God, I got cards flying out all over the place. I am not ready. I will let you know when I am ready, okay? So this is, again, for Cancer, mid-November to end of November. And, okay, now you can start flying out. I'm ready for you. Okay, I don't know why I need to do this, but... Okay, so we just had a whole bunch fall out, and for whatever reason, I'm taking them all. All right, how do we want to go? Do this, and this, and this. Well, that's interesting. They're all in reverse. Every stinking one of them is in reverse. That's very unusual. Okay, so the Death card came up in reverse. The Death card is an end to a cycle, but this seems to be the continuation of a cycle. So something that you thought was done and over is not done and over. Nine of Swords normally would be like your goose is cooked and you're just over it. And you're losing sleep and you're stressed out and somebody stabbed you in the back. But it's in the reverse position, so let me think how those two play out together. If the Nine of Swords is in the reverse position and somebody stabbed you in the back, I feel like that was a case of something happened kind of behind your back, but you didn't know who it was. And I feel like you just recently figured out who it was, and it feels like it was kind of a surprise. It happened by somebody that was a friend of yours. I'm giving for instances. I'm not saying this is what happened, but kind of like you found out your husband was having an affair with your best friend. Maybe you knew your husband was having an affair, you just didn't know who it was with, and then you found it was your best friend. You found out that your kids were doing drugs or something like that. You feel like you've been stabbed in the back and you knew something was going on, but you just recently found out who it was that stabbed you in the back, which is very unfortunate because it was somebody close to you. Again, some of the things like your kid, you found out your kid was doing drugs. You found out your kid was stealing from you. You found out your friend was talking behind your back. You found out your friend was sleeping with your husband. Something bad, and you just found out who it was and the circumstances around it. And this is the Justice card in the reverse position. So this to me feels like you are out for justice. You are out for revenge. You are ready to kill somebody, not literally, but you are like flipping out at the moment with what information that you just found out. And so there's been a lot of crying. When I see the Eight of Cups, it's dark, and I see the cups upside down. All I can see is just like, I feel like it's just tears flowing. So you've been crying. You're very upset. You are very emotional. Right now, all you can think about is getting revenge. You hate both of them. You want to put your kid in juvie. Whatever the case is, your thoughts are literally taking you to the darkest parts that they can go. And you need to watch yourself because this is not a good place to be. Not at all. So there's a lesson in here that is to be learned. And it has something to do with not taking it personally. These people did not do this to harm you. These people did this because they don't have good character of their own. So the point of the matter is, don't stoop to their level and become assholes like they are. It's a case of, I feel like you need to take the higher ground, because if you do try to throw out some sort of revenge or do something like super negatively, you aren't any better than they are. You've just done it in a different way. And just because they've done it to you and they deserve to have something and some sort of repercussions does not mean that you should go low like they did. It is not going to benefit you whatsoever. The last card that came up was, okay, so yeah, this does have to do with a relationship with somebody that you've had an ongoing relationship with for a while. So deep-rooted relationships, because upright eye, we see it's an immature relationship, something that's just starting out. And this one was in the reverse position, which tells me, yes, it was with somebody, could have been your spouse. It was somebody that you have known for a long while. Could have been somebody at work that you've worked with for a long while that you would have never guessed in a million years would have done this to you, or a best friend, or, you know, I am picturing like a 14 or 15-year-old boy with dark hair that you would have never in a million years guessed was doing drugs or drinking alcohol or stealing money from you or something like that. I mean, whatever happened really caught you off guard. And your intuition was not, it may have been working in the past, but you were ignoring any intuition signs that you were getting, because you were just kind of like, no, that just can't be. You know, it was like, I feel like there were some warning signs there, but you blew them off. You were like, no, that's not happening. There isn't anything going on there. And you were right. There was something going on there. And now you're kicking yourself because you're like, God dang it, I should have listened to myself, you know. Again, it happens, you know. Sometimes we see the red flags and we ignore the red flags. So don't beat yourself up. It happens to the best of us. But I feel like the moral of the story is, yeah, you're mad, and yes, you want to get revenge, but check yourself, because if you do try to take revenge, you are adding bad karma. You are adding karma against yourself, and something is going to come back and negatively affect you in the future. You don't want that, do you? I mean, like, watch it. I mean, seriously, take the high road in this case, no matter how bad you want to punch someone in the throat. All right, let's talk about some emotions that are going on here. I feel like I have a pretty good grip on what kind of emotions you are going through, but we're going to talk about some more. And then we'll talk about some healing that your guides, your higher self, your oversoul, whatever lesson was to be learned from this whole thing. We'll see if we can figure out kind of what the purpose of this was and why you had to go through this. It also feels like some sort of a past life thing that is coming in, and it feels like it has to do with balancing some karma now based on something that happened in the past life. Because a lot of times these major lessons are coming from past life issues and trying to correct some stuff from previous things. I do past life readings, so I run into that a lot when I do a reading. So if anybody wants one of those, send me a message. They're pretty cool. Not anything like a tarot reading, that's for sure. Okay. All right, so there's 6 cards. Let's figure out what we got going on here. All right, so the first one that came out was bored. That was, okay, That feels like the excuse that was given to you by whoever you caught doing whatever, and their answer was, I was bored. And that makes you even madder than ever, because you're like, there are a million things that you could have done besides blah, 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 and fucked me over because you were bored. So that feels like that was like a major excuse of what happened. The confident card comes up. Okay. So this comes along with whoever you caught or however you found out. I feel like they were confident that they were never going to get caught. And that makes you even madder than ever, because they were kind of arrogant about the whole situation when they were confronted, because they do not feel very sorry. And they were kind of like, well, we were really careful, and I never thought you were going to find out or anything like that. And just their air of arrogance and the way they're doing it, like they're not taking any responsibility whatsoever. And that's really aggravating the crap out of you too. So right, well, the inspired card came up. You are not feeling very inspired at the moment. What else does this say? Moved, stimulated, or challenged. The only thing that you're challenged about right now is literally not punching someone in the throat or slashing someone's tires or whatever thoughts are going through your head of what you want to do for revenge. And you're feeling a little depressed at the moment because I feel like you're more in shock than anything. And anger, although anger did not come out in the cards. Disgusted is one of the things that came up. Disgusted, revolted, nauseated, repelled. That goes right along with all of that. And then the other one was trapped. Trapped in reverse. So that one was imprisoned, cornered, and stuck. Let's see. How does that play in? How do you feel trapped? Okay, so it feels like you feel trapped because you feel like you're limited to what repercussions there will be. You're limited on ways to handle this. You feel like your hands are tied, and that you can't do a whole lot about it. And part of it, so if you are in a marriage and it was your husband that cheated on you with your best friend, you feel like you're financially trapped and that you can't just like, I'm getting a divorce, because financially you can't afford to get a divorce and go live on your own. So you feel like you're a little bit trapped on what you can do about this whole situation. Whatever the situation is, you feel trapped as far as just like being able, like in a perfect world, you would do this, this, and this. You would leave that job. You would, handcuff your son to the bed. You would divorce your husband and do whatever, but you're limited on what you can do as punishment. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Whatever punishment you want to do, you're limited on. And that's one of the reasons you've got revenge on your mind, is because those are some things that you can do to hurt them that will make you feel better for a very short period of time. But again, you're just adding karma to your plate, and you'll have to pay that back in the future. So don't even waste your time. It will come back to bite you in the ass. I'm going to do some numerology cards. I did this on the first two readings I did this morning, and see if I can find out something else. This would be like from your guides, from your higher self. Good grief, if I can get a hold of them. give me some advice here on what she or he can do to help ease the pain during this frustrating time that they have found themselves in. Like I said, it's like you can't really do what you want to do, so eating it is, God, man. I'm anxious to see what their advice is too, because I'm trying to think, what do you get? What kind of advice do you give somebody when they're stuck in a situation and they can't really do a whole lot about it? But you want to show your disapproval, obviously. You make your husband move into another bedroom and you don't ever talk to your friend again, I guess, is one way of handling that. I don't know if running to your friend's husband and telling him about it is the thing. You know, that's going to get real sticky. This could get very sticky. All right. Let's get a couple of cards here. Yeah. Here's a bunch of cards. All right. So the first one was karmic completion. I said that earlier. I thought this was karma. I thought this whole situation had something to do with balancing some karma. Right there's the card. Love it when a plan works out. Oh, shit. Parenting came up too. So this is going to make you reach into the depths of your soul. If this had to do, like I said, I feel like I see a teenage son about 14 or 15 that was caught doing drugs, stealing, drinking, smoking pot, whatever negative thing it was that he was doing. Could be a she. I'm seeing a he, but this is going to make you like get out your parenting books or call a counselor or something and ask them, what do we do? Because if you don't nip this in the bud right now, you could have like a serious like delinquent on your hands, and you know that. So that came out. Okay. Individuality. I feel like this is just saying that this situation does happen to a lot of people. You feel very alone in this right now because at this point in time, you don't know anybody that this has happened to. So you can't go to somebody and go, what did you do in this situation, and get some help. You feel very alone. This has happened to you. And I guess this, I do feel, for whatever reason, I feel like going to see a counselor and having a discussion with a counselor would help you, one, get rid of those dark thoughts of doing some kind of horrible revenge to all of them. But at least get that off of your chest, because this isn't something that you can talk about to just anybody. If it was your best friend that pulled some shit on you, then you can't go to your best friend anymore because she's part of the problem. And this isn't something that everybody in the world needs to know about. So a third party, non-judgmental third party probably is your best bet, instead of sharing this with friends or family. They're going to take sides and they may not give you the best advice because, they're going to have their 2 cents and they're going to be biased. And really in this case, I feel like you need a third party, non-judgmental person to bounce ideas and thoughts of, and not somebody giving their 2 cents that don't know shit and that has problems of their own. And practice some self-love on yourself, on you. This didn't happen to you necessarily. It happened for you. And if it was a karmic completion, it was going to happen anyway. something was going to happen to balance the scales. And don't beat yourself up, because it was, like I said, it was bound to happen. It was meant to happen. It sounds like the landscapers are outside. I am so over all of the noise. Yesterday, I'm gonna rant here for a second. Yesterday, I was gonna do readings yesterday. I got up, took a shower, and there was someone cleaning carpet. There was a big truck out that must have been cleaning carpet in the building next door. It was so stinking loud, I couldn't even think straight. I put earplugs in for a while I was putting my makeup on, in hopes that it would be done and over with by the time I finished getting ready, and it was still going, and it put me in such a bad mood. I was like, I'm not going to do any readings. This is just going to make me angry. So my day ended up getting kind of wasted yesterday because I was in a pissy mood. All right, here are some more messages, healing messages from your higher self, your oversoul, your guides, past relatives, anything to do with that karmic completion, why this happened, trying to figure out why the hell you had to go through this. You know, it was planned. That's the main thing, is this was planned out ahead of time before you were born in order for you to learn a lesson. So, what is the lesson that you were supposed to learn? The lesson is not to go stab their tires. Carrie Underwood had a song about beating the car with a bat and slicing their leather seats. And I used to work with a real estate agent. She got mad at her husband or ex-husband or somebody and poured mustard all over his white leather seats and ruined his seats by pouring mustard on it. I remember her talking about that when I was selling real estate. That was so freaking funny. She just passed away recently. I hope she got her karma balanced. Anyhow, all right. Give me a few cards here from the universe. I want to hear what you have to say about this situation. Do you have any last words of advice for healing for this person who is going through this rough time right now? Regardless of who it's with, it's not fun. They feel very alone, and they could use some witty advice, some healthy advice. Help me out here. Help me out here. All right, come on. I need a card or two or three. What do you got to say? All right, there's one. There's another. I love these cards. I love what they say. Let's get one more, one or two more. That one. All right, let's see what they say. So the first one says modify. I feel like that's saying modify your thoughts. Modify your revenge plan. Modify whatever you were planning on doing. And don't do those thoughts that you were planning on doing. We already talked about that. Sincere relationships. If you have somebody in your life that you have a sincere relationship with that can give you unbiased advice, I would say, yes, it's okay to go with them. But if you don't have anybody that, you know, isn't ego-based and isn't aware and awake, I wouldn't even bother going to them, because they're not going to give you good advice. And get clear. Get clear on why this happened. Get clear on what your plan is. Get clear on how you want to handle things. And try to take your emotion out of it. Journal it. Write it down. write down these emotions that you're having until you write so much you don't have any emotions left and attached to it. You're going to get a lot more clear messages when you do something like that, when you just write, what are you afraid of? Why are you mad? You know, how did this make you feel? I mean, you can go pretty deep with that. I feel like there's probably some core wounds that are getting ready to come up, some abandonment issues, some self-worth issues. You're beating yourself up, thinking you should have done things differently, blah, blah, blah. So again, everything always comes down to self-worth. Isn't that amazing? All right, that's the end of this. So this is middle of November to the end of November, and I will see you guys in December. Thanks again.